Good morning, gamers. Glad you've tuned in for another installment of Unscripted Battlefield. And today we will be going over the engineering class with your host, me, Salem XT, representing Big Guy Gaming. Now, normally I don't use the engineering class that much, but when I do, I enjoy the good old-fashioned blowing things up, setting landmines, setting the slams, and all types of good nonsense. I won't be able to demonstrate the landmines and slams. Well, I won't be able to demonstrate the landmines because, as you can see, I'd actually have to place them down and get a target to run over them. But since I'm the only one here on the test range, I won't be able to actually get a target to run over them. But that's okay. We won't let that deter us from exploring the other many wonderful tools in the engineering class. So, gonna back out, gonna redeploy here, pick a different setup, and go over that. But before we do that, let's go over the many tools that the engineer class has. First up, the MBT Law, or aka the Law. This is a really nice starter rocket. It shoots pretty decent at mid-range. I'm not sure if it has a really accurate long range. As far as I know, the only good it has for long range is if a target is locked on by like the recon class, one of the PLDs or the SOFLAMs. If one of those are locked on, I think the Law gets a range increase, and they could shoot longer at that point. But for the most part, it's like a mid-range type weapon. It doesn't do a lot of damage, like in comparison to some of the other rocket launchers, but it does do a fair amount of damage. It does have the lock-on ability like some of the other rockets, and I just like the fact that it's good for anti-personnel and it's good for vehicles both in the air and on land, but more likely you're going to use it for something on land because you're less likely to hit a target with the Law, personally for me, in the air than you would with some other tool. Gonna move down here to the RPG 7v2, well, RPG-7v2, otherwise known as the RPG. This little device here has saved me many a times. I do use it to take out tanks, the mobile transport units, the bikes, the hovercrafts, the ribs, the boats. I mean, anything that if it moves, I will shoot it with a RPG, and I feel like this has better accuracy than the Law does. So I'm more prone for using this. I've shot choppers down with it. I've shot jets down with it. I'll do a couple of videos later on down the road where I'm using this to take out multiple vehicles. But yeah, I love the RPG. It has a really good long range. The thing about it, if this is kind of like sniping with rockets. If you're going to use this and the target is moving, just be aware that you do need to give your target a little headway. Like, you need to move where you're shooting needs to be ahead of the target as opposed to at the target if you're doing it at a range distance. If at mid-range, you should be able to hit it pretty easily, and at close range you should have no problems. Now we move down to the MK153 SMAW, or the SMA. I don't use this one as much as like the RPG or the Law. I do see a lot of people using it, but the fact that it has lower damage than the RPG just makes me not want to use it. It does have high speed, low drag against anti-vehicle launcher. Low drag anti-vehicle launcher with flatter trajectory but lower damage than the RPG. So that's mainly the reason why I don't use it that much. Like the RPG, like the Law, it does most effective against side and rear of armored targets. So if you like the small, cool, I think most people use it because it shoots faster than the actual RPG, but I'm just not too thrilled with it. Next, we're going to move down to the FGM-148 Javelin, or the Javelin. I love this to death. It saves me so much time when trying to when I'm trying to hit a vehicle from a distance, because it locks on and gives you that I'm definitely going to hit this person unless they turn around and shoot you first ability. The least thrilling thing about this is the fact that you actually have to stay locked on to that target, which to me gives me less excitement than with like the RPG where I can shoot it and go back into cover somewhere. But the Javelin is really nice. It does really good damage against pretty much any land vehicle. It does really good damage against sea vehicles, and if you can get someone to lock onto an aerial vehicle, it will pretty much annihilate them single-handedly. I do like this next one coming up here, the FG M-172 straw, or S, whatever, straw. I like it better because it's the same as the Javelin if something is locked on, but not so much because you can guide it towards the target. The Javelin is just going to go wherever the target is, but if you're trying to get aerial vehicles, I feel like the straw is a better way of going than the Javelin. The Javelin, you have to actually have the aerial vehicle locked on, and you can't just shoot right at it. But with the straw, you can, and you can guide it. So if they get out of range, you can just kind of turn it around and come back at them and hit them if you get lucky enough to get, within range with it. Otherwise, I would still prefer the Javelin for land vehicles, just because it's assured that I'm going to hit them as long as I stay locked onto them. With the straw, you could say it's assured, but if you've overshot it just the slightest bit and it has to turn around, more than likely it's just going to turn around and hit the dirt. So there's a weak point with it. The Stinger, I prefer it over the Igla, mainly because the Stinger, it's shoot and go. Igla has the same thing like the Javelin, where you have to shoot it, lock onto it, stay locked onto it, and until the target is actually hit. Does the Stinger have the Igla has an actual further range than the Stinger, but I just prefer the Stinger over the Igla just because of its quickness and its proficiency in taking shit down. Then we come down to the repair tool, which works both offensively and defensively. If you're out of rockets, you're out of slams, you're out of AA mines, whatever, run up to your target and just blowtorch it to death. You can actually set off a couple of, if someone's put C4 packs on their vehicle, this will help get the damage down pretty quick if you're aiming directly at the C4 pack. I will say that if you detonate it and you're still close to it, you're probably going to die. So take that one for the team if you're willing to do that. Otherwise, if you have the, I want to say, yeah, the mechanic, if you put on the mechanic field upgrade, it's the first one, increases the speed and sabotage of repairs by 35%. So that's an increase to the damage rate that the repair tool will do. I think it also applies to the EOD bot. So if you're going to use it, try to equip that and do the extra damage a little bit faster. Definitely works good if a target is stuck somewhere and they just can't get out and they're just not willing to give up the vehicle to you. Let them burn in there and then blow it up. The M15 AT, which stands for anti-tank mine, I like it. I like it just because of its utility. The engineer class has probably the highest chance for all of its devices to be used pretty much simultaneously. If you're using the mines, you can set out as many mines as you can. I'm sorry, I feel like I got a little cold here. You can set out as many mines as you can. Normally it's anywhere from 3 at a time to 6 at a time. Redeploy, pick up the slams, and then set out as many slams as you can, and that's 2 different things that you have set out. Then you can go back, pick up the repair tool, and pick up one of the many ways to take out vehicles, and you could use a repair tool and a rocket launcher while your mines are destroying things in other places. You could the engineering class is probably the most versatile class as far as taking out vehicles in the game. It's just, you can do so much with it that the other classes can't do, that it's ridiculous. At any rate, setting down the anti-tank mines on the ground, perfect, because it only takes like 2 to just completely destroy any vehicle that's heavily armored. I think it only takes 1 mine for anything like the bikes, the quads, stuff like that. Now the slams, on the other hand, I prefer them because they work kind of like C4, where I can actually place them on something as opposed to just having to always set it on the ground. And I like to set it on the vehicles and then detonate it with a RPG rocket, so I don't have to use too many RPGs, and then just find someone who's support class and get my slams back and just keep going it that way. 2 of these and an RPG will definitely solve most of your problems as far as vehicles are concerned. If you can't get them on the vehicle, set them around the vehicle, ahead of the vehicle, somewhere a vehicle's going to pass by. And the slams, three slams by themselves will take out a vehicle. 2 will disable it, but I don't think it'll be enough to actually destroy it. I don't know what percentage of damage it's doing at a full tank. Full health tank versus 2 slams is enough to disable it, but I don't know if that's 50% or if that's less than 50%. So 3 is automatic, just death and destruction. The EOD bot, I like using it for arming bombs on rush. I like using it for moving my teammates around the map. I like using it for destroying vehicles, repairing vehicles. It's a nice tool. If you don't want to run up to something with the repair tool, the EOD bot is the way to go. Plus it gives you the bonus of arming and disarming bombs in rush matches. Finally, we come to what I actually enjoy, since they put it in the game, the AA mines, which is anti-air mines, which target air vehicles flying within a radius. One of these is good enough to, I think, disable and destroy jets, the planes, jets and helicopters. But if one like barely misses, like it blows up, but it only does explosive damage, but doesn't do actual impact damage. If it's anywhere in range of the second AA mine that you set down, the second one will definitely kill it regardless of impact damage or explosive damage. So the AA mines are really nice if you're on a stage where you can get up high and set them down and just keep the airs clear for your team. A good map that proves this is Dawnbreaker on the normal Battlefield 4 maps rotation. If you're on there, your engineer, pull this out and just cause havoc for anybody that's in the air. Now when it comes to field upgrades, normally I do prefer anti-tank over the mechanic, but if you're going to be doing a lot of if you feel like you're going to be doing a lot of repair tool usage, if you're using the repair tool, you're using the EOD bot, I would definitely suggest going with the mechanic upgrades. I will go ahead and show you real quick what I was talking about with the slams. I don't want anybody to say, no, you can't. It takes more than 2 slams and a rocket to take out a vehicle. And stop saying all the time. I can't help it. I'm only human. I think, and therefore it comes out whether or not it doesn't matter. Anyway, sidetrack. So yeah, 2 slams will take out any Two slams and a rocket will just destroy any vehicle. One slam and a rocket. Oh my God, my cataracts.